How y'all doing? Um, Today's message comes from uh 1 John chapter 2 verse 19. It says, "They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have continued with us. But they went out that they might be manifested that none of them were of us." So you got to be careful with these people who switch religions. Maybe they were Christian, they grew up Christian, but they went through something in their life. They probably got locked up or whatever, and then all of a sudden now they're Muslim. You understand? But if you sit there and look at the way they was living before they even converted to being Muslim, they weren't living the way the Bible told you. And don't let nobody sit there and tell you, oh, the Quran and the Bible have a lot of similarities. That's BS. Just I wish those people would just say that they wanted to be comfortable being worldly instead of sitting there trying to make it sound like they have similarities just because Jesus is in the Quran. Just because the name Jesus is mentioned in the Quran. You know what I'm saying? And for those people who converted to Islam or whatever, for whatever reason, and you claim that you read the Bible, you only know the parts that they talk about, they make movies about. Noah in the ark, Moses freeing the Israelites from Egypt, Moses splitting the Red Sea, you only know that part. And then, of course, the main point in the Bible, the death and resurrection of Jesus. But any other story in the Bible, you don't know. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, you gotta be careful with them because they'll sit there and just tell you that they read the Bible or whatever, and they know that they didn't read the Bible at all. I've seen it myself. People telling me, "Well, I read the Bible." Whatever. Even if they did read the Bible, they didn't let the word take root in their hearts and bear fruit in their life. You know what I'm saying? They probably just was following Christ because they were told to by their grandmother, and even that didn't make them follow Christ all the way. You can say you believe all you want. You can say you believe in anything. You know what I'm saying? But what you do shows different. You know what I'm saying? You can sit there and say that you believe in Christ, but your life doesn't reflect you believe in Christ, because if not, you would have some type of restriction of doing anything. Like you wouldn't have you wouldn't fornicate so freely. You wouldn't get drunk freely. You wouldn't be able to do a whole bunch of stuff that Christ told you not to do freely. If you believe, you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't do all that. You know what I mean? But people say they believe all the time. You know what I mean? But the way that they live contradicts what they just said. You feel me? And But yeah, it won't be, if you would get exposed to the truth, it wouldn't be so easy for you to just convert to Islam. You understand what I'm saying? It wouldn't be so easy for you. Now, some of them probably got mad because God didn't bless them the way they wanted them to bless them. You feel me? That's a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? But they don't look at it as that God was protecting them and rejecting them for what they prayed for. You know what I mean? But yeah. You just gotta be careful because a lot of people say anything just to get you to feel like they was living like that when they really wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And then I had got on the phone with somebody I grew up with. They family member had passed away from a car accident, and they left out a big part in that story. They left out two big parts in that story. They just told me that he died in a car accident and was on the wrong side of the road. But he didn't tell me any other part. And then he always just was always going back to, oh, you Christian and I'm Muslim. I'm Muslim. Then he tried to say he was about to say praise Allah, and I'm like, he got respect for me, so he just say praise the Most High. I already knew what you was talking about, bro. And every 5 minutes, every 3 seconds, he said to say you Christian and I'm Muslim. I wanted to ask him, why did you turn Muslim? You know what I'm saying? What made you go to Islam? You feel me? Besides being in jail. And then he said, oh, I grew up around, my family is Christian. Your family is not Christian. Your mother gets drunk. All of y'all get drunk. Y'all not Christian at all. You still fornicating. You on the phone with me drinking. You not Christian. You still cursing up a storm. You still living worldly. You not Christian. Stop saying that. Anybody can say they Christian. Yo, bro, that really irritates me because anybody and everybody say that they Christian, and the way they live is contradicting what Jesus told you how you live. Irritating. But yeah, I feel like I'm rambling. Y'all be careful, bruh. Test every spirit. Don't believe everybody just because they said they Christian. They wouldn't be Christian if they were able to just to walk away from to faith like that. All right, y'all have a good one.